Hello everyone, welcome back to Slides to Coasters podcast. My name, of course, is Brad Water Parker, and welcome back to another podcast. It's the end of the year. We are at the end of the line for 2020. Thank friggin' goodness. I'm done with the year. I'm done with this. I'm done with all the worldwide health pandemic. I'm ready for 2021. I'm ready for all these brand new water coasters and brand new water attractions. I'm just done. I'm done with this year. If you guys don't know us, my name, of course, is Brad Water Parker. I'm the host of Slides to Coasters. We basically have a monthly podcast, not monthly, a weekly podcast with monthly shows coming out every single week. We typically upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Please know that with the holiday season, that's probably just out of the, realm possibility right now. But basically, we would love to have you here. If you haven't already, go and check out our Discord, our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter. As well, if you come onto our Discord, check out our roles. We have different roles for different areas of the United States and around the world. So let's say that you're from the United States, you're from the Midwest, you get the Midwest role. If you're from Florida, you get the Florida role. We have a lot of amazing roles and a lot of ways for you guys to get connected with Slides Coasters and the community at large. And at the end of the show, if you feel as if we deserve it, leave us a like, leave a subscription, and as well, comment down below what you guys thought about the show today. So, as the title states, why should you go to a coaster event? Why should you go to a coaster event? Last weekend, I was talking to a friend of mine who basically, he's a GP, general public. He's not an enthusiast. And he asked me, Brad, why should I go to a coaster event? Because we were talking about Holiday World's Hollywood Nights. And he asked, why should I, as GP, go to a coaster event? And I kind of looked at him and I kind of tilted my head like, what? What are you talking about? What's going on? And today, we're going to kind of just break it down and just talk about why should you go to a coaster event? Now, let's kind of break down what exactly is a coaster event, what's the scope of today's discussion, and what's not going to be discussed. Alright, so first things first, we're going to be talking about mainly theme park and club operated events that are official. So, what do I mean by that? So, we're going to talk about park operated events where you have the park actually involved. They actually have park staff operating the event. For a club event, this is people who are part of the organization, a part of the club, have worked with the park to create an event for individuals to come out and enjoy the park. This typically will have a little bit of interaction with park staff, with maybe some ERT, early ride times. Now, with that in mind, let's kind of break things down for a second. First things first. When you go and look up some of these coaster events, you will see that many of them require for you to get a club membership with a recognized and organized coaster club. Okay? So recognized coaster club. And that varies from park to park. Why do I say that? You yourself, first things you got to do is see if you're eligible to get into the event without a club membership. If you do have to get a club membership, then you're going to have to go and choose a club. There are many clubs out there, many coaster clubs. All of them are amazing. I've heard great reviews about most of them. There's not one that I really could say stay away from. But, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, there are local, regional ones like there's one that's the Great Ohio Coaster Club. That's what I'm a part of. I'm not sponsored. This show's no way affiliated with them, but that's who I'm personally with because I'm in the Great Ohio area, and they do a lot of events in my region. There's also national coaster clubs like ACE, American Coaster Enthusiasts. They do a lot of events as well. So, with that in mind, let's move to the next stage. What exactly is there that you want to do at this event? Now, just to give you guys some perspective for a second, I am not just a coaster enthusiast. I'm also a lot of different kinds of enthusiasts. I'm a water park enthusiast, a holiday event enthusiast, but as well as I am a comic book guy. I like Star Wars, I like Star Trek, I am into cryptids, so I have been to a lot of conventions over the past couple years that have various things that I personally want to see. You have to go into these events and you have to sit down and say, all right, this is where I'm at. This is the event. What is there for me to do? What is there that attracts me to this event? There could be a lot of things that might attract you. For example, there could be a tour that you've never done. Maybe there's a tour of a new coaster that you want to see. Maybe there's a tour of a water coaster that you want to see. Or maybe there's a tour of a backlot area or a tour of an attraction that you really like and you've enjoyed all your life, but you really want to get an in-depth view. There could also be different things like, for example, maybe something to where they have a guest speaker come up or a park representative come up and talk about, questions and that a lot of the general public has about the park. There are a lot of different things to look at when you look at a coaster event. For example, there are certain events like Holiday World's Hollywood Nights where they actually turn off the trims on Voyage. They actually do that. And that's very special. That is very unique to that park. But it's things like that. It's night rides. It's ERT. Things like that you have to look at and you have to analyze and say, all right, this is something I really want to experience. This is something I really want to check out. Let's get involved. Let's see it. There's a lot of different ways to go about looking at a park. For example, Coaster Stock at Kings Island. I've been to that several times. They have a lot of amazing backstage tour of backstage tours, plural, sorry, of things like the Beast. They had one for Diamondback when I was there, and I believe they did one. They did some ERT for Orion this year, and so on and so forth. Well, I don't actually remember if they actually had one this year. I don't believe they did. They did not. Sorry. They were supposed to have one this year, but they did not. I'm sorry. Again, this year's been very long for me. But with that in mind, you got to look at it as this. These parks have these events, and they give you things that you're not going to get on a daily basis. When I was talking to my friend, he brought up the fact that, I could ride this coaster any day of the week. And I said, okay, well, you could ride that coaster any day of the week, but you get exclusive ride times where you could probably get on that coaster 10, 15, 20 times in a very short amount of time. And various seats with coaster enthusiasts who absolutely love the coaster too. So, the ERT really comes into point because when you go to a park like Cedar Point for Coaster Mania, that is a park that is very crowded on various days of the year. And you might be able to get on and have some exclusive ride times, and you might be able to get on that coaster several times. Same exact thing can be said for Hollywood Nights. I know for this year was not the situation, but this year is a little bit different. But Hollywood Nights, usually we're able to get on and off most of the coasters. We might have had to wait, the longest wait was for Voyage, and I believe Legend. And at one point, a little bit on Thunderbird. But yeah, for the most part, I wouldn't have been able to get on it like I did on Hollywood Nights, like I would during the day. So with that in mind, as well, another thing you got to look at is that when you go to a coaster event, you're not just there for the coasters. You're also there to experience the park in a different light. The food. I'm going to take a second. Some theme parks, some amusement parks, when they have an event, they roll out all the stops for food. Some don't. Some do. I'm not going to name names, but some do, some don't. There are parks out there like Holiday World who create a buffet, like a little hors d'oeuvres buffet style, restaurant, you could call it, where you just get like specialty foods that you can only get at that event. Now, how cool is that? There is food there that they're making for you that is only for that day, only for that event. That is some of the quality that you'll find with a lot of these theme parks. They make exclusive specialty food just for you, just for the event. As well, there's larger portions, more quantities. When it comes down to the nitty gritty, I always tell people there is a lot of things to talk about with coaster events, the coasters, the experiences, and the food. But as well, on top of that, when you're sitting down with your food, it's great to go and talk to different enthusiasts and coaster enthusiasts. When it gets down to the nitty gritty, coaster events are also a great way for you to go and get in touch with other coaster enthusiasts from around the nation and or around the world. When I first started going to coaster events, I met a lot of people who had different parks under their belt than I did. And again, remind you, when I first started going to coaster events, I maybe had like 100 credits under my belt, the max. So I was a very, very new guy on the block when it came to coaster credits. So when I sat there and I started meeting new people who talked about Hershey Park, talk about Cedar Point, and a lot of these parks, I'm like, wow, this is really big. These are really huge. I was able to meet a ton of people and a lot of people that are now my friends out of coaster enthusiast events. These events are not just for you to experience the coaster, but as well to experience the coaster with new people. With people who you've never met before. You might meet them again at another event. You might be able to become good friends with people. I don't know. Prime example, if you're part of a coaster club, again, talk about that coaster club for a second. When you walk into that event, you might find someone else who's part of your coaster club. And you might be able to talk, and you might be able to find a president or whatever, and just kind of talk and just say, hey, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so, and I'm part of your club. And just kind of talk about, the club and talk about the event and just talk about coasters. It's a very great way to meet up with new people. Everyone who I meet at a coaster event is very cheerful, very gleeful. There are rare occasions when you don't find that and when people are not very happy. And that's mainly just because lines or, maybe the heat. But for the most part, everyone's happy. Everyone's excited. I know for myself, when I went to Hollywood Nights, Andrew and I had a lot of fun, and he's a very good friend of mine. But just being able to go and experience the park with him, that was his home park for a while. And then he is now my Floridian buddy who goes to Busch Gardens Tampa way too many times. Speaking of, Andrew, if you're watching, you should hop on the show sometime. Return my text message, huh? No, he's busy, I get it. But it's a great way to go and communicate and get to know other coaster enthusiasts out there. Which, by the way, just a shameless plug, if you haven't already, check out our Discord. We have an amazing coaster community there. We'd love to have you there. As well, message us in the comments. Tell us why you think you should go to coaster events. Moving on here for a second, let's talk a little about why you should also go to your club's events. There are club events that will happen throughout the year as well. This is a great way for you to get to know people who are in your club. Maybe people have similar home bases, home parks. Maybe you'll find a friend who can come on up and ride coasters with you sometime. I don't know. It's a great way to go and get involved with your club and really get to see your club shine and grow when you go to a club-based event. And it's kind of interesting because for myself, I always tell people, get involved with your local coaster community. Get involved with organizations and really grow with coasters. Grow with organizations. Grow with clubs. And I think that just in general, we got a ton of cool things coming up the next year for you to get involved with and actually check out and grow as a coaster enthusiast. So you have a lot of cool things to work with when it comes to straight coaster events. But let's move on here. By the way, if I'm sounding a little more louder, So if you guys don't know, in editing, I could actually see my audio levels. I could actually see like the little spikes. And I've been very, very quiet. Now I'm going to be a little bit louder because I'm realizing I was really too quiet. Essentially, moving on here as well, there are charity events out there. I've been a part of several charity events out there. I've done a lot. I have been out there for various organizations. And I'll just tell you right now, I'll tell you up front, some of them are really nice. Some of them are very nice because they might have... So, for example, I'll go to something I always run back to. I forget the charity itself that we were helping out, but we had... it was a charity that helped out, children and young, teenagers who need help in schools and who are in poverty-stricken areas who need help. Who just need a, hand, just say, hey, keep going, keep moving. You're going to do great. You're going to do well. And it was for Cedar Point Shores, which they had their Media Day inter-charity event in virtually the same time. So when I got up there, they actually had a ton of food for charity guests. I actually have the lanyard right behind me. And it was called The First Slide... VIP charity preview for Cedar Point Shores. I'm sorry, my mind just blanked out there for a second. But it's kind of like for myself, it was a great way to go and help out kids who needed help, kids in need. As well, I was able to go out and say, all right, I was one of the first people to slide down on the brand new water slide attractions they added. And for myself, it's kind of like, for a non-water park enthusiast, you might be sitting there thinking, well, come on, Brad. I mean, really? Like, you're the first person to slide down a slide, so what? For water park enthusiasts, it's pretty big. Because I was able to sit down and say, all right, I was able to go and ride these slides first. I was able to actually ride Point Plummet, Portside Plunge. I got that from their Cedar Point website. I forgot their names. I remember it was Point something. But I was able to ride those slides first. And it was funny because the water was actually warm and the air was kind of cold. And not a lot of people got into water that day, so it was practically ERT for me. It was an ERT for a water park enthusiast. So I enjoyed it. As well, I got a really nice little bag. I got a lanyard, which I still actually use for my car keys sometimes. And or I just keep it up in my office with my other lanyards because I ride a lot of them. But when it comes down to it, when you help out charity events, there are charity events like Coasting for Kids that are operated by the parks where you can go and help out Give Kids a World, which they have a little village down in Florida. And they just help out kids, be kids. To give them the world, give them the capacity, go on ahead and have some fun at the parks. I think it's incredible. I think that it's exciting because when you're able to help out kiddos who don't have the capacity, their parents just don't have the money, that's huge to me because you're making a difference. And when you can ride a coaster or if you can ride a slide and make a difference, that's what matters. So I think most definitely for charity events, club events, park events in general, you should definitely go and check it out. There's also as well first rider packages for a lot of these parks. I know for Cedar Fair, they do a lot of them for like Kings Island, Cedar Point. That is something that I want to get more involved with, but just due to time constraints and due to scheduling issues, I'm not able to perform and actually get involved with those. But I wish I was able to do more because I think they're amazing. I heard a lot of great things out of the Orion First Riders Night. I heard a lot of great things out of the Seal Vengeance First Riders. I could go on and on and on and on and on. However, with that being said, I think that in general, if you really want to go and experience the parks in a different way, go to a coaster event. Go to an event like Coaster Stock or Coaster Mania or Hollywood Nights, and I could go on and on and on here. But go to an event, whether it is a park ran event or a club ran event, you should get out there. You should go and experience these parks, experience these coasters, and really get involved and be active. Especially in 2021, 2021 is going to be an interesting year. Hopefully, this worldwide health pandemic is going to be over. Hopefully, the social distancing is not going to be happening next year. I will say, too, just because you guys are probably wondering, I left out events like Cedar Point Winter Chill Out. Primarily because, for myself, I believe that's a coaster that's more aligned with the charity event. I didn't really talk about it as a coaster event because you can't ride any coasters. But Cedar Point Winter Trail Out, another event that you should definitely go and check out. You know, the off-season walk-arounds. I think that Kentucky Kingdom does one now. Cedar Point has one. I don't know whether or not they're going to do one this year. But those are really exciting because, again, they help out organizations. They help out charities. But at the same time, you're able to go and walk around the park at a different time of year and get to check out some of the off-season stuff. Of course, you know, I could do without some of the tour things they did. I wasn't really a huge fan of some things, but, you know, it was enlightening. And that was mainly because I actually had experience with another park, and some of the stuff they're showing is kind of like, okay, I've seen this already. But, you know, just for myself, I think that, seen it already in a different park, I should say. Just for myself, I think that's very exciting to go to a coaster event. And I think that whether you're going with your club or if you're going with with the park in general, I don't think you can go wrong. I think you're going to have an amazing time. I think you're going to have fun. I think you're going to enjoy yourself. And just in general, I think you should do it. So that kind of wraps up the podcast portion of today, but I want to make a brief statement about 2021. Just kind of showing you guys what's going on. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to take a break on the 30th and as well on the 1st. There's not going to be any content. We're going to cut things short. That was an executive decision by myself, just because I want to give myself some time to just kind of reflect and just kind of relax. As well, I'm doing some things in my personal life, just trying to get things set up. And as well, I'm trying to learn this editing software because I think I figured out how to do the photos. But I really do. I need to take some time. I need to sit down and look at this and really review it and get everything fixed up for you guys. Because 2021, we're going to hit pretty hard. Might even take some of those days to go and edit and record some new shows for you guys if I have time. Just so that you guys can go and really feel like Slides Coasters is your home. If you guys haven't already, go and check out our Discord. Our Discord is in our channel description. We have an amazing group of individuals to go and hang out with. We're going to be posting a lot more content next year. I'm going to be recording some brand new shows for 2021 here real soon. But with that being said, on behalf of everyone here at Slides to Coasters, I hope you guys have a happy new year. I hope 2021 is a great year. And stay tropical. We'll see you guys in the next one.